357, climb flight level 250.
Flight level 330 for ANZO 854.
Going 9865, continue to descent, flight level 120. Flight 322, or to the tower request, stand by for approach.
Flyway 456, descend flight level 70.
Flight level 1823.
50. Approved there, reports to departure.
Clear wing 125, North Control, good morning. Climb flight level 270. Expect further once clear of traffic.
Clear wing 125, climbing flight level 270, standing by for you.
270.
97 Echo, North Control, good morning. Maintain flight level 330.
Flight 9794.
Oh, Peter, you have all pressure decreasing on both engines.
Okay, fly the airplane, check the problem.
Okay. North Control, this is Clear Wing 125. We have problems on engines. Request maintain flight level 270. Will reach it?
Clear wing 125, roger. Maintain flight level 270. And please state the nature of your problem.
Yes, Clear Wing 125. We have low pressure on both engines. I'll call back.
Clear wing 125, roger. When ready, please advise intentions.
678, check 340.
Jen, did you hear that?
Yeah.
So Clear wing 125's got an engine problem. It sounds like it could get serious quite quickly.
Okay, well, let me know what you need. I'll let Marie know so she can organise some backup if necessary.
Okay.
Taxi 4709,
Hello? Marie, we've got a 737 Clear Wing 125 with an engine problem. They haven't declared an emergency yet, but could you arrange for a controller to be on standby just in case? Will do. Thanks.
North Control, this is Clear Wing 125. Request fly back to Midtown.
Clear wing 125, roger. Do you wish to declare an emergency?
Clear Wing 125, affirmative, Clear Wing 125.
Clear wing 125, roger. When ready, please advise numbers of persons on board and duration.
125, roger.
97 today.
9070. Clear Wing 125, we have 97 POB and I call back for the endurance.
Clear wing 125, roger. You're currently 70 miles east of departure. Maintain your present heading and level due to other traffic. And copied 97 persons on board.
Roger, maintaining present heading, Clear Wing 125.
Jane, Clear wing 125 hasn't declared an emergency. Yep. It sounds like he needs to get on the ground quite quickly. Could you make sure to get somebody else in?
Sure, will do.
Oh, and we may have to tell Midtown that he may be coming back.
Okay.
But stand by one.
Okay.
Okay. Going to Capital City is going to be quicker. Capital could take an aircraft of that size. Jane, can you check with Capital, see if they can take it, please?
Yeah, sure.
Clear wing 125. An alternative is Capital City. It's your closest suitable airfield. Please advise your intentions.
Get it back here, Clear Wing 125. Clear Wing 125, request divert to capital and request for our vector.
Clear wing 125, roger. Turn right, heading 090 and descend flight level 120.
Right, heading 090, descend flight level 120, Clear Wing 125.
Clear wing 125, currently 65 miles west of Capital.
Clear Wing 125, roger.
Okay, down to flight level 120, heading 090.
Check.
Clear wing 125, Capital QNH 1019. Radar vectors straight in approach runway 07, surface wind 080, 7 knots.
Roger, Clear Wing 125, radar vector straight in approach runway 07, and capital QNH is 1019.
That day, the aircraft made a successful landing without further incident. This was, however, a very serious emergency. The loss of oil pressure to both engines was a severe threat to the safety of the aircraft and passengers, and could have resulted in a catastrophic accident. On this occasion, the flight crew handled the emergency well, and were greatly assisted by the air traffic controllers' cool-headed and efficient response to their crisis. Supported by his colleagues, he provided all possible assistance to the flight crew, knowing that his timely support was critical to their safety. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. In June 1990, the crew of British Airways Flight 5390 were faced with an unusual in-flight emergency when the cockpit window of their BAC 111 blew out, causing an explosive decompression. In the seconds that followed, the captain was partially ejected from the aeroplane, while a quick-thinking flight attendant saved the captain by hanging onto his belt and legs. The co-pilot battled to deal with the emergency and initiate an emergency descent. In this situation, unfortunately, the flight crew were not provided with all possible assistance by the controller they were dealing with. While he acknowledged the co-pilot's mayday calls and alerted his supervisor, the controller took no further action to assist.
Requesting radar assistance onto the nearest airfield, please.
Speedbird 5390, roger, can you accept landing at Southampton?
Speedbird 5390, I am familiar with Gatwick. I would appreciate Gatwick.
Speedbird 5390, roger, if you make a left turn now to direct to Mayfield.
90, if you could direct me into Southampton, affirmative.
Okay, so would you prefer Southampton or Gatwick? Speedbird 5390, confirm you wish to route now to Southampton.
Speedbird 5390, we have... Sorry? Speedbird 5390, I am maintaining 110, I am at 160 knots, requesting radar assistance into Southampton.
Speedbird 5390, roger, standby.
He did not respond adequately to the co-pilot's specific request for radar navigational assistance, nor did he provide the required advice on the aircraft's position. He also did not pass on any relevant weather or runway information regarding the diversion airfield. In fact, he continued to manage his sector almost as if no emergency situation existed, and made no attempt to offload other traffic or to minimize RT on the frequency. He accepted and dealt with further requests from other aircraft, which at times obscured communications from Flight 5390. According to a subsequent analysis, his handling of the incident was characterized by a lack of positive control and the absence of a systematic plan of action. Control of the aircraft was eventually transferred to the airfield zone controller, who did establish positive control and provided effective and timely assistance and support to the co-pilot.
To interrupt if you feel you need to.
5390, thank you very much. I have the runway in sight.
Thank you, you are clear to land. Do you wish me to continue with any further information?
BA 5390 landed safely, and in spite of suffering serious injuries, the aircraft's captain survived this event and returned to his flying career. Although this incident predates any formal requirement for controllers to receive enhanced training so that they can deal more effectively with emergency situations, there's no doubt that the controller involved with Flight 5390 could and should have done a better job to assist the crew to deal with their emergency. As he said himself later, he felt unable to cope with the situation and had continued to manage other traffic in order to normalize things. However, this man was a fully qualified, well-regarded and experienced controller. So, what can we learn from this incident? The key question is, how well does the system prepare controllers to deal with such an occurrence? ATCOs receive plenty of training on dealing with the everyday events of their job. But do we really train them to deal effectively with abnormal situations such as this emergency? Commonly, the answer is a resounding no. Too many air traffic controllers still do not receive adequate training or on-the-job experience to prepare them to deal effectively with unusual circumstances. Following their investigation of the BAC 111 event, the National Air Accident Investigation Body drew similar conclusions. While airline maintenance deficiencies were found to be the major contributors to this occurrence, the official report on the accident recommended that air traffic control candidates undergo training in both the theoretical and practical handling of emergency situations prior to the issue of an ATC rating. The report further recommended that this training should be reinforced at the validation stage and by regular continuation and refresher training exercises. The national regulator accepted these recommendations and, as a result, enhanced training for unusual circumstances and emergencies was implemented.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Marie. Hi.
So, how are you feeling after the clearing emergency this morning?
I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, fine.
You know, I was really impressed with the way you handled it.
Not a lot to it, really. I was just doing my job and, well, Jane helped a lot.
You worked well together, but
Good team.
it's one thing knowing what's in the manual, but getting it right under pressure, that's what really counts. You did a good job. You were calm and you managed to think and plan ahead. And that diversion to capital was an excellent idea.
Well, you know, I did that new emergency training only last month.
I know.
And I think that really helped.
How was the course?
I was a bit sceptical to start with, but it proved to be very useful, especially the practical exercises. You have to remember that the crew are very busy, not to load them up too much, and to help out where you can.
Paul's performance was undoubtedly enhanced by the emergency training he undertook a few weeks before this event.
Separate the aircraft from other traffic, silence on the frequency.
This kind of training is designed to prepare controllers to react effectively and remain calm when confronted with abnormal situations.
Support the pilots in every way possible with alternative routings, diversions, etc.
It provides them with strategies for dealing with such events and suggests general procedures to follow that will enable them to be of most help to the flight crew involved. Some controllers may believe they don't need this type of training, but remember that airline crews themselves regularly practice dealing with in-flight emergencies. Airline pilots and cabin crew practice emergency drills in flight simulators and cabin mock-ups several times a year. They also complete annual emergency procedures training, which is aimed at improving their reactions in standard and abnormal conditions.
Emergency training for the pilots is a key point. We cannot imagine, indeed, and train for every emergency situation, but a realistic practice of abnormal events can help to reduce and to take the stress out of the crew. That's the first point. Second is this emergency situations don't happen every day. If you ask a retired pilot, it will tell you probably that it never had in a lifetime an engine fire of depressurization. So it happens so rarely that you have to be ready for that day. You have to be trained, because you need to be confident you can cope with that. Training is important for the crew members, but we need outside help if possible, and this is the support from air traffic controllers. That is a key point and very important. A good example of a good teamwork between pilots, crew members, and the controllers is, the United Airlines 232 accident in Sioux City.
This is Dave Nixon at KTIV Channel 4, interrupting with another news bulletin about an air disaster at the Sioux City Airport. It happened just before 4 o'clock this afternoon.
The plane had lost all hydraulic pressure, we're told, and was trying to make an emergency landing at the Sioux Gateway when it crashed.
We were flying along in cruise when a very loud report from the number 2 engine. We didn't know which one at the time, of course. It was very shortly after like this that we realized that we had more than just an engine failure. It was apparent to us that we had lost all control of the airplane. And when I asked Dudley for the procedure for that, he said there isn't one.
In fact, the crew managed to use differential engine thrust on the remaining 2 engines to gain rudimentary control over the aircraft, eventually making a semi-controlled emergency landing at Sioux City Airport. While the crash landing resulted in 112 fatalities, 184 passengers and crew survived. And it's widely accepted that the number of casualties would have been much higher if not for the highly effective performance of the flight crew. While crew resource management training was given much of the credit for the crew's good work, so was the performance of the air traffic controller who dealt with Captain Al Haynes and his flight crew as they positioned to land at Sioux City.
United 232 Heavy, the runway is 9,000 feet long. You'll need about a 235-240 heading to join.
Captain Al Haynes later said of Controller Kevin Backman,
MSP Center quickly turned us over to this extremely calm young man, Kevin Backman. He's the controller that happened to be on approach control when we turned it over. The calmness of his voice, the communications with him was outstanding. The DME didn't work at Sioux City that day, and the cockpit voice recorder shows numerous times we were asking where we were in relation to the airport and how far out. And he was right there every second giving us every bit of information. He picked out airports we could go to, runways, highways we could land on. Communications in the air was tremendous.
United 232 Heavy, roger. The airport's currently at your 1 o'clock position, 10 miles. And United 232 Heavy, if you can't make the airport, sir, there is an interstate that runs north to south to the east side of the airport. It's a 4-lane interstate.
We're just passing it right now. We're going to cry for the airport.
United 232 Heavy, roger. And advise when you get the airport in sight.
Got the runway in sight. We'll be with you very shortly. Thanks a lot for your help.
When we are dealing with an emergency situation, we are under pressure, under stress, and we don't need someone to talk, to ask questions every second. So we need help. We need someone, air traffic controllers, trained to assist us in such a situation, to protect us, to give us the good information, anticipating for a diversion field or weather or something like this. I'm sure that the controllers know that we have, in an emergency situation, we have a heavy workload in the cockpit, so the key points depend on that. We need a calm controller, calm voice, a quick response, and we need they anticipate our needs and information about planning, diversion, weather, frequency, and we need, if possible, a separate frequency to be alone with them to deal with this situation. I don't think it is possible to ask the controller to be ready for that without training. So they need an emergency training too, as we need an emergency training.
As we've seen, air traffic controllers have a vital role to play in supporting flight crew faced with an in-flight emergency. Whether that emergency involves a stricken aircraft at altitude or a critical situation in the terminal area, the timely and effective support of a controller may mean the difference between a safe outcome and a tragedy. Eurocontrol guidelines and web-based e-learning package on controller training in the handling of unusual and emergency situations provide a number of acronyms which may be useful as aide-mémoire to controllers faced with emergencies. One such acronym now in use in some countries is ASSIST. Acknowledge the call. Separate the aircraft from other traffic. Give it room to maneuver. Silence on the frequency. Provide a separate frequency for other traffic where possible. This prevents unnecessary clutter for the pilots. Inform those who need to know and those who can help. Inform others as appropriate. Support the pilots in any way possible. Start to think of alternative routings, etc. Time. Give the pilots time to collect their thoughts and concentrate. Don't harass them for information. Emergency training is an accepted convention within the airline community. It provides significant benefits in preparing crews to cope with on-board emergencies. The same principle can and should be applied to the training of our air traffic controllers. As noted in the official BAC 111 investigation report, given that emergencies are rare, it is inadvisable to leave to chance the possibility of a controller experiencing such a situation. The provision of training in the handling of emergencies and other infrequent occurrences is therefore essential. Providing air traffic controllers with adequate training on how to deal with unusual and emergency situations will require the provision of additional resources. And it's true that some controllers may never need to use the skills they acquire to respond to a real-life emergency. But consider the alternative: an accident on your watch, because a controller was put in a position he or she was not equipped to handle. Not only is emergency training now a European safety regulatory requirement under ISAR 5, in these days of increased corporate liability for organizational failures, emergency training is a good investment in everyone's safety. Are your air traffic controllers adequately prepared to deal with unusual or emergency events?